Welcome to this section on functions, a core concept in programming that allows us to perform actions on data efficiently and effectively. Functions are one of the building blocks of any code base, enabling us to encapsulate logic, reuse code, and make our programs more organized and easier to maintain. In this session, we'll explore what functions are, how they work, and how you can use them to perform actions on data. We'll also dive into some live examples to solidify your understanding of how functions can streamline your coding process. Let's start with what are functions. A function is a reusable block of code that performs a specific task or action. Think of a function as a small program within a program. It takes input, processes it, and then returns an output. Functions help you avoid writing the same code multiple times, making your programs more modular and easier to manage. Consider a simple function that adds two numbers together. For this, let's type def add numbers a and b, return a plus b. In this example, add numbers is the name of the function, right here. A and b are the parameters. You can call them inputs to the function. This line, return a plus b, is the action that the function performs, which in this case is adding two numbers and returning the results. Let's go through the process of creating and using a function in Python. For this, I'm going to type here we defined a function add numbers that takes two parameters and return their sum. We then call the function with the arguments 5 and 3, right here, and store the results in a variable called result. Finally, we print the result, which is 8. When we run this function, we get the output, that is, the sum is 8. It is printed by this line. So this simple example demonstrates how a function can encapsulate an action on data, making it easy to use and maintain. Now, let's talk about functions with multiple actions. They can do much more than simple arithmetic. They can include multiple actions, process different types of data, and return complex results. So let's have a live demo with this code. The analyze text function takes a string as input and calculates two things. First, the number of words and the number of characters in the text. We use the split function, right here, text.split method to count words and len length to count characters. The function returns both the word count and the character count. We then call the function with a sample text and print the results. Our sample text is functions are essential in programming. And then we print the outputs, the word count and the character count. So let's run this together. This example shows how a function can perform multiple actions on data and return multiple values. So it says the word count in this sentence are 5 and the character count is 39. So we have used this split and length function to calculate the word count and character count respectively. Now let's talk about functions with conditional logic. Functions can also incorporate conditional logic to make decisions based on the data they process. For this, let's look at this code. In this function, the determine status takes a score as input and use if statement to decide if the score is a pass or a fail. So this right here, determine status, is the function name. If the score is 50 or higher than 50, the function returns pass. Otherwise, the function returns fail. We call the function with a score of 65 for this example, which results in a pass status. So let's run this and see the output. So upon giving the value of 65, it says the student status is pass, as the value is above 50. This example illustrates how functions can include logic to handle different scenarios, making them even more powerful. Sometimes you'll need a function to perform repetitive tasks, which is where loops come in handy. So let's look at this example. The SUMList function takes a list of numbers as input and uses a for loop, which is right here, to calculate the sum of all numbers in the list. The loop iterates through each number in the list, adding it to the total. The function returns the total sum, which we then print. So this example demonstrates how functions can efficiently handle repetitive tasks by using loops. So when running this function, it adds up all these values. So the total sum is 15, which is the correct answer. In more complex programs, you might need to combine multiple functions to perform a series of actions on data. For this, you can look at this code. We define two functions, calculate average and overall status. The calculate average is used to compute the average score, and overall status is used to determine if the average score is a pass or fail. The overall status function calls calculate average, within it demonstrating how functions can be combined and reused. We passed a list of scores 70, 55, 60, 45, and 80, which calculated the average and determined pass or fail status. So this example shows how combining multiple functions can help you build more complex and powerful programs. So it says the overall status is pass. Functions are a crucial tool in programming, allowing you to encapsulate actions on data into reusable blocks of code. By mastering the use of functions, you can write more organized, efficient, and maintainable programs. Whether you're performing simple calculations, processing text, or handling complex logic, functions will help you streamline your code and make it more powerful.